Thank you for tuning in to Newsflow from H2O.ai. This is Sayam Bhutani, your host, bringing you weekly updates from the machine learning community. Tune in each week for an update of great blog posts that I'm reading, interesting research papers, interesting open source projects, and upcoming events from the H2O.ai's machine learning community. Enjoy. Welcome to the first episode of Newsflow. I have a request for you, the audience, but I'll save it towards the end of the episode. Let's jump right into it. I want to start off by a few interesting reads that I've been enjoying over the past few days. The first one is titled "Jupyter is now a full-fledged IDE" by Dimitris. And remember, all of these things that I'll be talking about, it's not easy to keep the links in the screen. So these will be linked in the description if you want to check them out, or there'll be a write-up separately along with the video or audio, depends on wherever you're tuning in from. Feel free to pick up the links from there, go ahead and read or watch anything that I mentioned. This particular blog post talks about how Jupyter is now a complete form of literate programming, the term coined by Donald Knuth, which really speaks to how co- computer programs are written not for computers but for humans. And these are a few points on how Jupyter Notebook, which wasn't already addressing them, now is capable of addressing them. You can create modules, Python modules from notebooks. Fast.ai would be an example of a library that's been created just from Jupyter Notebooks. You can edit and navigate your code inside of Jupyter Notebook. You can synchronize any changes back into notebooks. You can create hyperlink documentation. Again, FastAI is the best example that has already done this. So it isn't an upcoming thing, it's already been done. You can create pip installers readily uploaded to PyPy. There's testing, continuous integration. Really, Jupyter is now a full-fledged IDE. This is another interesting read, peer review in NLP Reject If Not SOTA by Anna. Again, find the link in the description if you want. This talks about state of the art SOTA, and a common approach that has been picked up by reviewers, which is reject if not state of the art. It discusses this in depth, and I really like their take on it. Read it if you like this. There's not much more that I can point out. Coming up, research and open source things from research and open source that I've been enjoying. De-occlusion is a self-supervised framework that can remove occluded objects and their spatial orders from a single RGB image. Now, what that translates to into in English is, if let me play this video. If you're on Instagram, you can just remove your clutter from the image, clear it up. Or let's talk about a realistic example. If you want to keep your house safe, you can hide the toilet paper in the image by just clicking and moving it around. Note that this is an open source research. You can find the link to the GitHub again to this, or you can find additional resources if you want to read the paper, you can do that. The second one is called background matting. Let me go ahead and play this video so that you have a better understanding. It says the world is your green screen. That's a tongue twister. And as you can see, you take an original video and you can replace the background, essentially extract your object from the video or image and be able to replace the background. At least for this examples, it seems to do a really good job. It's again open source. You can find the source code on GitHub. You can read the paper. There's a page to the project. Feel free to check it out. I really enjoyed it. More on open source, PyTorch 1.5, PyTorch, the framework's 1.5 version just released. It has updates on C++, front end, their new experimental higher level AutoGrad API. And you can again read up more on this. It's not a major release, but it has a few things that have been addressed really nicely. Would advise you to check it out if you're curious. Interesting discussions and tweets from the community. Tim Detmers in this tweetstorm tweet thread talks about how can you successfully train transformers, not the Autobots, but the NLP transformers on small data sets. And are LS teams better on smaller data sets? He ran a large number of experiments and he shares his advice in a tweet storm because he didn't want to write a blog post. And this originates from, I'm sure if you've ever traded a transformer, it's frustrating to have train it on smaller data sets. It doesn't give you good results. Rachel Thomas in this small tweet thread talks about how a few people in the community just think of architectures that are really important in deep learning and data sets aren't given as much credit. Feifei, for example, who created ImageNet, has really created the benchmark capability for all of us. Some of the people may not give them as much credit as they deserve, but in my personal opinion as well, people who create these data sets are the real heroes. Machine learning code completeness checklist. Now, this is a checklist from papers with code. If you're not familiar with the website, would advise you to check it out. But this is now part of the NeurIPS conference code submission process, and it talks about how to really make your machine learning code complete. Since machine learning is not software 1.0, we talk about the software 2.0. There's few things you need to address to make your code really complete, to make it reproducible, which includes you include your dependencies, you include your training scripts, your evaluation scripts, pre-trained models, and results. It really makes the job of other people who'd like to check out your research, build on top of it, play around with it much easier. This is a great blog post on Medium. Again, check it out if you want. A few interesting watches. Andre Karpathy had given a talk on AI for full self-driving. And in one of the sections, he talks about how a simple task such as just detecting a stop sign can be a really complex task. And that really speaks to how far away are we from full self-driving, or how challenging of a task it is. Andrew Ng, the legendary machine learning teacher, now has a specialization, AI for medical specialization, and this is being offered on Coursera. You can audit the course for free if you'd like. And Andrew Ng's CS229, that's the code of the course that was originally taught at Stanford. But his famous machine learning course, latest version from 2018, at least the current available latest version, is now uploaded on YouTube. You can check out the playlist, you can check out the course website. A recap of the H2O community events. There was an Ask Me Anything session with Carol Grandmaster and data scientist SRK, Surlay Rajkumar. You can watch the recap on our YouTube channel. I don't think I need to tell you anything else. You should be already watching it. You know what to do. Go ahead, check out the AMA. My interview with Erin Liddell is now up. If you haven't watched it, please go ahead, check it out. It talks a lot about auto ML and the communities that Erin is active in. Upcoming events from H2O's communities. So depending on when you're watching this, you may be able to join it live, or you can watch a recap. The upcoming title of this webinar is Current Lessons from COVID-19 and Moving Forward. The panel will be from H2O's team. It's on 28th April at 9 a.m. Pacific if you'd like to join live. And of course, it'll be recorded and later made available on our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch the recap and if you can't make it live. The second event would be State of AI in Supply Chains. This is being hosted on 30th of April at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Feel free to sign up for it, watch it live, or you can, of course, watch it later as a recap. That's it for this week. Now, as for my request that I was going to make initially, yes, you, this podcast is being made for you, the listener. All of these is completely community driven. Please let me know if you enjoyed this, anything that you'd like me to cover, anything that you'd really liked, and if you'd like me to extend upon it. This will be completely driven by you. Feel free to find me on Twitter, find H2O on Twitter, tweet at us, or get in touch with any way possible. This podcast is for the community, and I hope to and will be driven by your feedback. That's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week, and remember to subscribe.